it blows my mind that I get on my channel as a former police officer who've investigated crimes, and I lay out compelling evidence as to why Tyler Robinson, I believe, is the responsible person for killing Charlie Kirk. At least he should get arrested with probable cause. But then I think some people decided that they want to capitalize on this tragedy because, you know, I looked at other people online saying that Charlie Kirk, it was an explosive lapel mic that killed him. There were drones that killed him. Israel killed him. I mean, with zero evidence. My thing is this, Eric, and you know, I'm a former cop. My whole mindset is I would never not be a police officer in my mind. Everything that I evaluate is evaluated through an investigatory perspective. Like, I need to see both sides. I need to see evidence. I can't go off emotions ever. And so when I look at Charlie Kirk and I look at the accusations that people have made against his death, I say, if you have evidence, present the evidence to me. I will consider any something of evidentiary value. I'll consider it all. If you were to say that Israel was responsible, show me evidence. If you were to say Mikey McCoy or any of the people at Turning Point USA is responsible, show me more evidence than a guy freaking out after watching his best friend get murdered in front of him. That's not evidence. That's called human behavior. That's called psychology. Like, people, it's easy to talk about what you would and wouldn't do looking at a television. It's not easy to actually do certain things when you're faced with a legitimate threat. When shots are fired and you watch your friend get shot in the neck and blood gushing out right in front of your face. The horror of something like that for a person that's never been to combat or has never even seen anybody die before is unimaginable. So if you're going to make a strong accusation that somebody's implicit or involved in something, that somebody's stealing video footage from the cameras, which I knew Terrell very well. Terrell was a great guy. He wouldn't hurt a fly. And to make these accusations, and now people are getting death threats, I just find that to be incredibly bizarre and incredibly damaging to Charlie Kirk's legacy. Because now, look at it, Eric. All people are talking about is conspiracies around his death. Nobody's talking about revival anymore. Nobody's really talking about his perspective on Christianity and the fact that he loved Israel. Now they're framing it as he was a Catholic and that he, you know, decided to do some other stuff. And when I say Catholic, I mean that he was a Protestant and people are just trying to divulge his theology and process down to saying that he was something that he wasn't. Not saying that being a Catholic is anything wrong with that. It's just that I don't believe that's what Charlie was doing. And people try to do that to divert from what he actually has said on campus 1,000 times. And I think it's wrong.
What you just said is the clearest example of, you know, if somebody says, you know, oh, cool, what do you think about all these conspiracy theories and what do you think about it? I would say the fact that it has so dramatically and effectively changed the conversation from people coming to faith in Jesus Christ into anything else, that tells me the spiritual nature of what we're talking about. Because what could be more wonderful than people talking about millions coming to faith in Jesus as a result of this tragedy, and that was happening. And so for the channel to be changed, to be talking about all this crazy stuff, I smell Satan all over this. That's what it smells like. And when I have talked to people, even people that I know who have said crazy things that they did you hear Candace said this and she said this and that, and I thought, oh, how can you get sucked in to this madness? I mean, it really reveals in a way how susceptible people are, because, you know, the scripture talks about, you know, even the elect would be deceived. This idea that there are people that, you know, you just wouldn't expect it. And then suddenly they're repeating some crazy thing that they heard on the internet. And what about this? And what about this? And you think, yeah. Oh my goodness, like, you're buying that stuff?
Eric, I experience this every day, and I'm sure you do. It blows my mind that I get on my channel as a former police officer who've investigated crimes, and I get on my channel and I lay out compelling evidence as to why Tyler Robinson, I believe, is the responsible person for killing Charlie Kirk. At least he should get arrested with probable cause. I read the affidavit that they submitted to court to arrest him. I read through all the evidence that they claim to have, and I know how these processes work. You can't just make a claim and submit it to the court with no evidence. They would throw the case out. So if you are making a claim that his parents identified him on surveillance footage, and he made a confession to his parents. I mean, the video recording, DNA evidence on the trigger, DNA evidence on the ammunition, spent round casing in the 30-06 weapon, autopsy that was done, the bullet was recovered. And I'm telling you, people are going to be, it's going to be shocking to them, some of them, because they've been believing a lot of lies online, that the bullet in the gun match. And so when all of these things that have clearly been represented in its fullness to the best of the ability of the investigators, I don't know how people don't believe that at least Tyler Robinson was the one that shot Charlie Kirk. Now, if you want to think there's multiple people involved, it's okay to have that thought process. But when I get online and I just lay it out based on facts, I read the probable cause statement to my audience. People are, how do you not believe? You don't really care about Charlie. You're not asking enough questions. I'm like, you guys don't realize that at some point this is going to go to trial. And at some point, the evidence is going to be presented. Mommy and daddy of the killer is going to be on a witness stand. The trans boyfriend is going to be on a witness stand. I doubt that they'll have Tyler Robinson up there because they'll lose the entire case if they try to put him on the stand. But they're going to try to make him look like a normal person so they can not get the death penalty. They're not coming out to defend Tyler Robinson. His defense team is not defending him. They're trying to defend him from the death penalty. But you say that in the audience, a lot of people, not everybody, but they eat you alive as if you hated Charlie. And I say this too. I knew Charlie very well. I loved Charlie. The first time my wife ever saw me cry was when I found out he died while I was live on my podcast. It hurt me because I was at his wedding. I knew Erica. I had never met his children, but I knew he had children. I'm a father. When I saw the fact that they reported Charlie Kirk is dead, he was just 30-some years old, 31 years old? He's a young man. He didn't deserve what happened to him in the way it happened. So it made me incredibly upset and emotional. There's no way in the world I wouldn't want justice for Charlie Kirk. There's no way in the world, Eric, that Erica, his wife, the one he loved, that he married, that he had children with, that he saw every day of the week, that she wouldn't want justice for him. And that Mikey McCoy, who was his best friend, I never seen Charlie without Mikey in the last 6 years. I'm telling you, he was dear to Charlie's heart. You telling me these people don't want justice? But other people who really didn't even know Charlie, some of them weren't really close to Charlie. Some of them don't even follow Charlie on social media. And they want what's best for Charlie, but the people closest to him don't. His pastor who married Charlie, I was at the wedding. The pastor Pastor McCoy married Charlie and his wife, Erica. Charlie would always call him my pastor. I've been around Charlie and Rob McCoy before. I've seen him. I've done events. I've spoken at Rob McCoy's church. You know, but the people rather believe a lie. Like somebody said this online, Eric. They said, it's interesting that you have to show no evidence for a lie, but people demand all kinds of evidence for the truth. Why is that? I can get on here and tell a lie right now and nobody would even question me. Why?